Remember yesterday we made some inferences about Milo based on what the text said. We determined he's a bored child and he never finds anything interesting and he sees no value in learning. We also met a couple other characters as we read chapter 2. Milo encountered Talk. And one thing that the text said was that Talk is always sniffing around to see that nobody wastes time. So I can infer that he makes sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to. That it is the goal is that everyone's doing what they're supposed to. And Talk is just making sure that they're doing that. However, in the doldrums, it's not at all their job to do anything. In the text on page 29, it also says he was a large dog with a perfectly normal head, 4 feet and a tail, and a body of a loudly ticking alarm clock. So he is literally a dog with a clock. He is a watchdog. Talk. So how is this an example of wordplay? Well, I remember that a watchdog is an idiom for a person who monitors people to see that they follow the rules. So Talk makes sure that no one's wasting time in the doldrums, which is exactly what everyone in the doldrums does. So the Lethargians are afraid of him because he's checking to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to, but they believe that they're not supposed to do anything. So it's kind of a conundrum. We also met the weatherman, and we know that weather, when it's spelled this way, is a homophone. So in the text on page 17, it says that he was a little man in a long coat, and he came rushing from the house, speaking as fast as he could and repeating everything several times. It also said he was someone whose sentences didn't always sound as if they would make as much sense backwards as they did forward. And he shared on page 19, his job is to hurry them along, whether they like it or not. So how is this an example of wordplay? Well, weather is a homophone for weather, and he is an example of wordplay because he's worried about the weather, but his job is to make sure people leave expectations, whether they like to or not. Expectations are when someone believes something to be true, and lots of times people don't get past their expectations in order to get to the real truth. So again, expectations is a setting. It's the place where you must always go before you get to where you're going. So how is that an example of wordplay? Well, in real life, when someone has an expectation, they have to get past it to see the truth. And in the same way, Milo has to pass expectations to get to where he's supposed to be going. In the same way that I found text evidence for each of these and explained the wordplay, I want you to go on to Lethargians and the doldrums. Find some text evidence, make inferences, and explain how they are an example of wordplay.